Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to the next in the 2020 segment with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and this video or any of my other videos resonates with you, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. So with that said, as you can see by the title, if you've seen any of my tarot readings, if you've seen any of my videos where I'm giving you numerological, astrological, or tarot information, readings, etc., I always use my opening prayer, which is to bless things with love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance. And I always pray that the messages and everything that comes through is for the highest vibrational good for all involved. So a lot of people ask me why, a lot of people ask me where it came from. When I started to read professionally, I say professionally because I've been reading for years, a lot longer than I've had a YouTube presence. And for me, it really felt, because obviously when you connect with people over the airwaves, they don't really know you too much. And, you know, they put a lot of faith and a lot of trust in you and what you do and the information that's coming through. And I always want people to know that everything that I give them is the highest caliber that I can possibly deliver. And, you know, ultimately, for me, I just want to make sure that the space that we're working in, you know, whether it's for tarot, whether it's for astrology, whether it's for numerology, I always want people to know that the space that we work in is pre-cleansed by me. And obviously when we enter into that connection, it's even more so. So why love, light, peace, prosperity, and abundance? Well, in short, the truth of the matter is the world can always use more of these things. Always. I truly, truly believe that, and I always will. So I'm going to break it down for you. So yeah, in all fairness, it costs nothing to be kind. I've got my trusty notes here. It costs nothing to be kind, and the world can always use more love. And I truly, truly believe that. So let's start with the first one of these, right? Love isn't just for partners. It's not just about boyfriend and girlfriend, husband, wife, all the rest of it, or even just for your children. Love is an energy, and it is a very powerful energy, and it's a deeply protective energy. So when you come from that place within yourself, for yourself and all people that you come into contact with, the energy is naturally purer by its rote. Yeah, and the other thing as well, when you come from that place of love within yourself, it's about treating everybody as if they were your people. It's about offering that instant connection, and it's about really, like I said, opening yourself up to the purest vibration of protection, and ultimately to help people connect with you and ultimately put them at ease. And it's the same thing as well. You know pretty much straight away when somebody's kind of in a bad mood, right? Even if they're usually smiley, you can kind of feel that tenseness. So, you know, for me, this is the whole point. One of the things that I've put here as well is treating people like they're your people. So I am, and a lot of people have a lot to say about this, lots of friends and family. Whenever I see a homeless person or anybody that's in a situation like that, I will stop. And even if it's just, you know, whatever you give, especially in the spirit of love, it doesn't have to be financial. It doesn't even have to be tangible. Sometimes it's just about the time and the energy that you spend with someone. And one of the things that I've always believed, my mum always used to say this to me as well, you always stop for homeless people, we can't dawdle. No, you know, not because she was being mean, but like, because that would just be me. And the thing that I have always believed is, for me personally, if I were ever in that situation and it were that bad, at least if somebody stopped to say, hello, how are you? I hope your day improves. That is a demonstration of love. That is a declaration of love. It goes way beyond just connecting with somebody in intimacy and a partner. It really is about living from a space within your heart that is deeply profound, deeply connective, and deeply protective. So that's why love. And also a word to mention, now that I've brought my mum into it, gosh, for those of you out there, you all have mothers, right? If you're here watching this, then you've got a mum in some way, shape or form. And whether they're religious, whether they're spiritual or not, each one of them all the time puts out well wishes and all the like out there for you, right? And that in itself is a deeply protective energy. I can't tell you the amount of times anything has happened and I just know deep down in my heart that it's because my mum was looking out for me in some way, shape or form, that I was looked after. And so, in that way, that's why I say love, it's such a powerful energy and everybody is deserving of it as far as I'm concerned. So, light, aha. This might be the one that presses a few buttons or, maybe triggers a few people. And you guys know me. I can't even sit here and say I'm not a total rebel because I'm not a total rebel, but, I'm definitely an Aquarius, right? So, light is infinite shades of grey, and light and dark are in balance and they are in nature, and they're infinitely balanced as they should be within us and also within nature. And that really is the truth of it. Every human being has light and dark within them, right? All of us. I don't care how spiritual you are. I don't care how religious you are. Everybody has light and dark in them. Life itself is infinite shades of grey, and it's supposed to be. You can't have one without the other. You can't know yourself unless you truly see yourself through the eyes of somebody else or through the mirror of the world. If you're going down a certain path, the only way that you ever really know that it's wrong is when something reverbs at you in the world or from another person to say that what you're doing isn't working, what you're doing isn't right, all of those things. So when I call on light, especially in readings, it's to remove or repel anything other that has no place or the client isn't even aware that they've brought with them. And sometimes it happens that way. This is the thing, we're all broadcasting and receiving information 24/7, even in your sleep, even in your dream time realms. Sometimes it could be somebody that you come into contact with. I'll give you a good example. So I call in light to repel anything that I don't want in the space for us, especially when I'm reading. So think about it this way. When you come into contact with somebody that's got a cold, had a cold or whatever, they kind of pass that on to you and then you get sick and you're like, oh, I must have picked it up. You don't really know where from or who exactly. Maybe you have an idea because that person in the office is coughing and spluttering, but for the most part, you don't really know where it is that you got that from. And it's very much the same with energy. Sometimes you can come into contact with somebody and they might be carrying something and it's transferred over. So when I call on light, it's not to say that, I'm just of the light and I'm Raph and I'm oh so holy and pure. It's to make sure that I set the intention for the space that we work in while our energies connect, that your energy is repelling and removing anything that isn't of your vibration and also of mine. It keeps us both in that space of protection, of cleanliness, of cleansing and love, right? So peace, this is another one, right? To quickly kind of finish that off as well, this is one of the reasons that I say, everything comes in pairs. It has its light and dark opposite. When we're doing the readings, especially for me, or if I'm delivering any kind of important information that I feel, I want that to be for your highest vibrational good. So whatever comes in is obviously whatever you need, but I want to make sure that it's not tainted by anything that isn't really going to be for your highest vibrational good. So peace. When all is said and done, many people seek solace, shelter, and it's human to reach for a life raft. And that's really true. When you think about peace, I think everybody, when you hear the word peace, it conjures up images of everyone like, totally zened out, man, and world peace. And it's more than that. It's a stillness. It's a sense of stillness and knowing and understanding that all things are right as they should so be at any given moment. It's that understanding that stillness really does speak, that silence has its absolute place within everything. If you offer a safe space and energy, you already provide a lot of what people are subconsciously grabbing at or for, and this is the way to best nullify the competition that happens for energy in people. So when you have that innate stillness, and you can maintain it in the world, around people, in groups, in, you know, all situations, that's when you truly have the power to affect change, the power to influence the environment or the people that you come into contact with. And I say this out of all love, but a lot of people are quite unconscious about how they put themselves on stage, about, he says, with a YouTube channel, but you get my point, you know, how they put themselves on stage, how they compete for energy, how, you know, when the conversation gets to a certain point, if they get uncomfortable, they start sort of competing. And very often this really is subconscious within people. Like, they don't even realize they're doing it unless you point it out. And if you do that in a way that's kind of derogatory, they can really take it personally, because ultimately it's them that you're pointing something out that isn't quite right with. So if you provide that safe space, energy, and peace, right? And I'm not talking about during readings now, I'm talking in every walk of life, in every moment of life. Take yourself off of the stage, take yourself out of the competition, know your own point of reference, be in that personal stillness, know that personal peace and serenity within your life, and everything that you want and hope for will gravitate towards you. And those things, people, situations that you may not necessarily want to align with will actually start to find your baseline. And this comes into this whole idea. I'm going to tell you this story. When I was just starting secondary school, the sixth formers put on, I think one of their projects was to teach the first years something, you know, a subject that they needed to teach. So anyway, we were in it, and, you know, they were handing out prizes for correct answers and stuff. And I remember this really clearly. They asked a question, and I knew the answer straight away. And so they said, right, if you believe it's true, you stand on this side of the room. If you believe it's false, you stand on this side of the room. So everybody flocks to they think it's false, and I knew it to be true. Like, I just knew it to be true. So I stood on that side of the room, and with all conviction. And even one of the sixth formers actually said to me, "Are you sure? Like, you sure you really believe this?" And I was like, "Absolutely." You know, all 2 foot nothing of me, because I was only 11, right? And I was actually quite a short kid. So I stood there. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm staying here. I didn't back down at all. And as it stood to reason, 2 people actually ended up joining me. And then when they said to us, you know, the answer is actually that this is true, you know, everyone kind of looked at me and they were like, yeah, all right, fair play. And this is that whole ethos that if you've got 10 people and one person steps out of that line and says, no, I'm doing this because I believe it to be right, and they do it with all the conviction that they have, the other 9 will fall in line. So if you have that stillness, if you have that moment, if you have that peace and that serenity within you at your personal point of reference, everything around you will align to be of it. And if it doesn't fit with that vibration, it will naturally remove itself. That's a really big secret that I'm giving you there, guys. So use it however you will, all right? But just make sure it's above board. Prosperity. Aha, this is another very loaded word nowadays, because nowadays when you think of prosperity, everybody just thinks of millions, filthy rich. You know, they said that's sorry, that's just me being a dork. But that's, you know, kind of what most people, you know, when they hear that word, that's what the image kind of conjures up in people's minds. And it's a fair assumption because of, or association rather, especially because of the stuff that's kind of happening and floating around in the world at the moment. But the word prosper actually means to grow or proliferate. Right? To expand, to grow, to be prosperous is to grow beneficially or positively in some aspect, or even in intention. So to offer prosperity is that energy that allows growth and taps others into their own ideas of prosperity, but also allows them to grow in and of their own energy. Right? And this is the thing, like, we build, and whatever we focus on, whatever our intention truly is, that's what we get more of. That's what we grow more of in our lives. So when you talk about prosperous, it's not just about finances. It's not just about money. It's about your mindset. It's about your heart set. It's about your energy. It's about all aspects of yourself seeking and striving to grow in exponential ways that are not just beneficial and positive for you, but for everybody that you come into contact with. So when I talk about welcoming in prosperity to my space, or to all of the things that I talk about, it's to aid and assist people in their own personal growth so that they can grow in and of and for themselves. And that's really, really important for me. I'll give you another example. Just recently, if you're watching this, you know who you are. Very, very special person that had been working with me for about 3 years, recently come to a point and said, Raf, I feel that I no longer need your services. And I can't even tell you how happy that made me. I didn't think about it like, oh my gosh, I'm losing a client. What I thought was, wow, you know, I got a front row seat in seeing how this person has evolved to their own highest good and is now out there absolutely killing it for their own lives. And that for me is beautiful. That's when I can say, yeah, you know what? I've done enough, right? That's what I set out to do. And I'm like I said, I'm humbled that I got a front row seat to see somebody reach their totality. Yeah, hands up, you know, that's the good stuff as far as I'm concerned. So I came up with this blessing because I wanted people to know where I come from within what I do and where I am, and ultimately what I'm about. And the reason I made this video is because this year I said I would give people more of an insight into who I am, what I'm about, what my journey has entailed. There's going to be lots more of these little stories and anecdotes and metaphors that come through, just to kind of give you guys more of an inside scoop of who I am. I mean, you know me as that tarot guy, and you know, the numerology life path dude, and all of that's great. It's wonderful, but I don't think people have really got enough of a glimpse of who I am, where I truly come from with all of these things. And I want people to know that these aren't gimmicks to me. They're things that I have grown into, that I offer the world, because I believe that's what my mission is. And then finally, now that you know this, it's no longer just words, it's a little peek into who I am behind the cards. So with that said, as always, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic time, day, month, year, whatever point you're watching this at. I wish you so much love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. Take care. We'll see you soon.